2018. Happy New Year. Can you believe it? I thought the fire behind me was a good idea, but it kind of looks like I am in the fire from my perspective. I'm like that sorority video. Anyway, I'll try to keep my distance. Today, I'm gonna be doing a roundup of 2017 favorite things. Top 5. It was very difficult to put this list together. I always feel like I'm forgetting things, especially TV shows, and I'm looking forward to going into a new year. A lot has changed in 2017, as you know, and as you have probably also experienced. Let's do this. I'm gonna start with the books. Books and TV shows are the only categories where I'm putting them in there if I experienced them this year, not if they necessarily came out this year, even though most of them did. So for movies and music, it's all like stuff that came out this year, because that would be difficult. Coming in at number 5 is We Are Okay by Nina LaCour. I read this book earlier in the year in February, March. It's a queer book. It's very sweet, understated, but beautiful and gorgeous writing. If you haven't experienced a Nina LaCour book in any way, this is a great one to start with, and I also recommend You Know Me Well. Number 4 for me this year is Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. Oh yeah, I love this book so much. I read it recently in like October. I've heard a lot about it over the past year, but what really pushed me to read it is the fact that the movie's coming out in March. Have you seen the trailer? It looks incredible. The movie's been retitled to Love, Simon. It's got a very Fault in Our Stars feel to it, same producers. I would love to see this be like the next big YA thing that like everyone is reading. This is such a sweet story, fleshed out, complicated, interesting characters. I love this book. Coming in on my number 3 is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I just had this moment where I was like, Adam Silvera had 2 books out this year, and I actually like History Is All You Left Me better. But I read History Is All You Left Me in ARC form in 2016, which is why it is not in this place. But anyway, even though what I just said, this book belongs on this list just as much. This is Adam Silvera's 3rd novel. The writing is real and refreshing. The story is interesting and new. I fly through these books every time. He somehow manages to slow down the best moments but still keep the story going. If you aren't reading his books, you're missing out, and this one is so incredible. It takes place in New York City, and when I started reading it, I was there, so I really felt connected in a way that I didn't get to with his previous books. It was different. Number 2 on my list is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. I've talked about this a few times, but I haven't done a full video on it yet. I loved this book. It's my favorite John Green book. I really saw myself in the main character and related to her experiences, and really appreciated being able to see the evolution of John Green's writing. Being there when The Fault in Our Stars came out, and now here when this one comes out, I'm so happy that he was unafraid to tell this story. And it really hit me, and I want to read it again. But it really took a toll on me. I mean, it's a job to read this book, not because it's difficult, but it is so real and it is everything. And my favorite book of 2017 was a nice surprise. This book was actually published in 2007, and it is Call Me By Your Name by Andre Aciman. I adore this book. I flew through it and I listened to the audiobook. I read it in just a couple days, which I do not do. I really can't say enough about it, so I'm gonna say not much about it. Just know that I plan to make a video about this and the movie very soon. This book like transcends everything else I've ever read. Switching gears and going to television. For TV shows this year, my number 5 pick is Younger. Oh boy, Younger. This show stars Sutton Foster and Hilary Duff. What a dream team, first of all. I did not know this show existed at all until June of this year. Someone had to tell me and make me look like a fool. There are 4 seasons out. Over the summer, my binge series was Younger. It was extra sweet because I was interning at a publishing house as I was watching the show, so it wasn't like accurate, but it was very funny. The way I describe the show is that it's amazing once you get past the fact that it's terrible. It's so fun to watch. It's just got such a great spirit, and I flew through every episode and every season. And then I was on vacation for a week with my parents, and we were looking for things to watch, so I watched the entire series with them again. Coming in at number 4 is This Is Us. Oh my goodness, this show is on NBC and Hulu. If you haven't been watching it, you've got to get on it. The storytelling in this show, the writing, all of the actors, all of the performances, the way they deal with time. We're never really at one moment. Learning about this family, it's got a great diverse cast. This is one that I couldn't sit and watch all day. I sort of have to take it 1 or 2 episodes at a time, but that's okay. I'm all caught up right now. I'm like ready for it to come back. I love this show so much. Number 3 on my list for TV shows is Girlboss. This show was on Netflix this year. It did not get picked up for season 2. A lot of people didn't like this show, and I guess I never really got into the discussion of why people didn't like it or why they did. I unexpectedly started watching it. I thought it was so fun and addicting. I love the style of it. I love the main actress. I love that RuPaul was in it for like maybe 3 or 4 episodes. This was a show that I probably watched in like one lonely weekend in April. But it's true. I never really used to do that until I did it with 13 Reasons Why. And I was like, that was such an experience. That was 13 hours of television. What am I gonna do? So I watched Girlboss. It was kind of the sort of show that was right up my alley at the time. Really enjoyed it. Sad it's not coming back, but not that sad because like it was good while it lasted. Coming in at number 2. This is the only show on my top 5 list that I didn't start watching this year. But I have to put on my list Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. We're on season 3 now. I really enjoy the direction we're going. They're unafraid to take it in different places. So if you haven't been watching Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, great time to start. It's on Netflix, seasons 1 and 2. It's a musical comedy. It's super fun. I've gotten so many of my friends to start watching it. And before I give my favorite show of the year, I have some honorable mentions. How to Get Away with Murder, which I've been watching just the past few weeks, and I'm obsessed. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which I just watched. It's on Amazon Prime. Highly recommend. American Vandal. I can't review the honorable mentions. Ugh. 13 Reasons Why. Jane the Virgin, of course. Will and Grace, the reboot, we're giving it time. Modern Family, and Girls. And my favorite show of the year was RuPaul's Drag Race. The show has a special place in my heart for this year. I didn't start watching it until this year. I started with season 9 and then I went back and now I've seen most of this season. I'm excited for All Stars 3 in January. I really feel like I got in touch with a whole new community this year. Right after Sasha Velour won this year, I got to see her in a club in Brooklyn on her birthday. I had so much fun watching Drag Race this year, discovering so many talented people that I love now. So it's gotta be my favorite thing of the year. Moving on to the movies. Coming in at number 5 is Ingrid Goes West, starring Aubrey Plaza. I loved this movie. It was directed by Matt Spicer. I thought it was brilliant. It was the perfect role for Aubrey Plaza. If you're someone who loves her, like this is the movie that she does. It might not be the role of her lifetime, but it is very much an Aubrey Plaza movie. This movie's weird as hell. It's funny. It makes you think, and it's a very real and important comment on social media. You know, a lot of stories go there with social media, but this one really kind of goes there. Coming in at number 4 is Call Me By Your Name, starring Timothée Chalamet and Armie Hammer, directed by Luca Guadagnino. As I said earlier, Call Me By Your Name was my favorite book of the year. I made the mistake of seeing the movie hours after I finished reading the book, so it was all right there. I knew exactly what was happening, and it was a very faithful adaptation, but I wasn't able to enjoy the film the way I wish I had been able to. I was really in my head about like, I have to enjoy this, like I have to separate the book and the movie. I always say that I do that, which has nothing to do with the performances or the way it was done. I was just watching all the events that I had just read about and had just been inside the character's head about. Now had to watch it all happen in a completely different language. I don't mean Italian, I mean like film. So I definitely need to see this movie again. However, still loved it. I'm so happy that it's getting all the buzz that it is because truthfully I didn't know what would set it apart from all of the other, you know, white gay indies that are on Netflix. And I think it's the performances, the way that it's unafraid to not have, you know, such a looming villain, that it's a very simple story and they really take their time with everything going on. They have such a respect for this story. So please go see Call Me By Your Name. Coming in at number 3 is Get Out. This was written and directed by Jordan Peele. This is one of those movies where you sit there to watch it and like you just watch the whole thing. You don't think about it, you don't check your email, you're just there the whole time. It is very exciting, a brilliant story, very scary, thrilling. Even if you aren't into those things though, I think everyone should see Get Out. It's so good, I could watch it again and again. Coming in at number 2 is Baby Driver. This stars Ansel Elgort and was directed by Edgar Wright. This movie came out this past summer in June. I saw it in New York. It was such an exciting experience. I saw it in 4D, so there were like wind gunshots in my ear. I really felt like they should have warned us about that a little bit more. There was rain, there was a wind, and I didn't even mean to buy that ticket. I thought it was 3D. I don't even like 3D. It was just the time that worked out best, but it really enhanced the experience. I watched it again since then, and again. I love this movie so much. It's not even totally like the movie that I usually go for. It's just done so well. You can feel such a passion in every decision that's made. There's no time wasted in this film. I loved Baby Driver so much. My honorable mentions before I get to my favorite movie of the year: Spider-Man: Homecoming, The Big Sick, Star Wars: The Last Jedi, Fight Me, and Beauty and the Beast. And my #1 favorite movie of this year, I'm so happy and excited about this movie. It's Lady Bird, starring Saoirse Ronan, and also a lot of other people: Laurie Metcalf, Timothy Chalamet again, Lucas Hedges, Beanie Feldstein, and it was written and directed by Greta Gerwig, who I also just watched in Frances Ha. I love this movie so much. I love it because it's not even that complicated. It is just beautifully done. It is just honest and just real, and all of the characters are really there and really real, and all of the performances. I love when a movie feels like watching a play, but then with all the goodness that you can do with the cinematic universe. Ah, what a great example of that. So Lady Bird was definitely my favorite movie this year. I could just like... And my final category is the music, the albums, the memories, the magic, the music. Barbra Streisand. I listen to a lot of pop music, so I'm not including like Broadway cast albums on this list. Is that okay? I listen to all sorts of music, but okay, when it comes to like pop stars, I obsess over them as a whole and like their careers, you know? I feel like I study the albums in a totally different way. So I listen to like rock music, but it's usually just a few songs from different artists that I love, or it's older stuff. I'm just putting this out there so you don't think my entire music taste is pop music. But I do have an obsession with pop music and pop culture, and that is why these are my favorite albums. And in 5th place, we have Beautiful Trauma by Pink. With this album, I did not like the lead single, so I was really nervous. I didn't like What About Us. And then when we found out that the album was gonna be called Beautiful Trauma, I was like, wow, what a stupid title. So I was already over it until the night the album came out. I heard Beautiful Trauma and I listened to it over and over and over again for weeks. I love that song, Beautiful Trauma. And my other favorite song from the album is I Am Here. I got the record, so I listen to it on vinyl sometimes. It's a very solid album. I love Pink. #4 on my list, Reputation by Taylor Swift. I'm a fan of this album. It's different from anything she's ever done. It makes 1989 look like just a stop in the direction that she was going. I still prefer 1989 because it's very nostalgic. This one is like, it sort of gives you a headache sometimes, but like, hooks galore. It is like a modern pop masterpiece. The only tracks I hate are So It Goes and Dancing with Our Hands Tied. I feel like that's the general consensus. Am I wrong? But I love King of My Heart, Call It What You Want, New Year's Day, and I'm also a fan of Endgame. And so Taylor Swift makes the list. Coming in at #3 is Rainbow by Kesha. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy this album came out this year. I remember the day that we heard Praying for the first time. Then we watched the music video and we were like, I'm gonna ignore that. But Praying! I love every song on this album. The only one I had to come around to was Finding You, and now I love it. It's a masterpiece. It is so different. And then seeing her live this year was incredible. This album is my favorite thing she's ever done, and I just love Kesha so much, and I like Glitter, and she's gonna be on tour with Macklemore this year. So yeah, I can't say enough about Rainbow. #2 is Gone Now by Bleachers. Oh boy, this album. I thought Strange Desire was a masterpiece, and I don't even know which one I prefer between their two albums, but I love Jack Antonoff. His work has been on this list a few times already. I love Don't Take the Money. I love I Miss Those Days. I love Sometimes I Hate That You Know Me So Well. I love this album. The way he produces his songs is very interesting. I really appreciate how you can feel his distinct style, but he always rises to the occasion no matter who he's working with. So to hear this when it's him, and this is what he loves to do, it's very cool. Some honorable mentions before I get to my favorite album of the year: Future Friends by Superfruit, Younger Now by Miley Cyrus, Collection by Ali X, and my favorite album of the year is Melodrama by Lorde. Oh my goodness, I just like die for this album. Oh my goodness. I love every track, even the one I don't like, Writer in the Dark. I love it. Listening to this album all summer in New York was a spiritual experience. I love the Louvre and Supercut and Sober. I love that there's a reprise on it. I love Perfect Places. Oh my goodness. I was agog, I was aghast, I was shooketh. It's only 11 tracks. I love Lorde so much, watching her in interviews, listening to her talk about her collaboration, her songwriting process. She's so honest, so unafraid to be herself, and so not trying to be anything else. So those are my favorite things of 2017. Wow, I made it through the list. If you like any of the things that I liked, leave me a comment below, or if you hated them, leave me a comment below. I want to hear about your favorites. Happy New Year. I'll see you guys really soon with another video talking about the future this time. 2017 was a great year of art, a great year of comedy and music and television and movies and books. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Happy New Year. Goodbye.